All right, recording the Analytics Instrumentation Office Hours call on the 5th of October. We are kind of rebooting the Instrumentation Office Hours. And even though we don't have any external visitors, we thought we would record a bit of a discussion about some of the documentation changes we are making, and see where that goes. Right, so we have this topic of we want to add some quick start videos to our documentation. I was wondering if I should look at the quick start guide. But we have an agenda. Let's see. And we already kind of talked through this a little bit, but
should I or you maybe share the screen and look at so that we can look at the docs together and can talk a bit more while we look at the docs, where something belongs and what we should put there?
Yeah, let's do that. So
should I quickly share? I have
yeah, you can do that.
So that's the current structure that we have. We have I think both internal analytics and internal event tracking pages are just kind of more or less, do you call it, like table of contents? Then we have the quick start guide, which leads you through, okay, how do I define an event and metric? And then how do I trigger them? Backend is comparably sparse, and then we have the front end as well, which gives a few more different options on how you could trigger the event depending on where it's located.
Yeah. So we talked about adding a video introduction as well, and if we should kind of split it up in different videos, if we should keep it as one. And it seemed, I think it probably makes sense, as we also talked about, to split it in several videos, because we kind of have some that is shared between front end and back end, like the definitions and using the generator part. Yeah. And also we have this section about like monitoring or verifying that that actually works. Do you think would it be good to edit this as videos directly embedded into here, or should we add links over to? We host them on YouTube, right?
Yeah, so I definitely would embed them here. Yeah. I think that's also what we did previously.
Yeah,
in a few cases. Like when I removed the snowboard, I think on the snowplow stuff, there's also some videos. I think if we split it up into separate videos, I've never did that before, but I think we need to make sure that it's kind of like a playlist or something. I remember that is possible with YouTube when you, like when someone does a course or something, that they have this like, where it's up one video after the other. Because to me, it feels like, or the question is also, I think there's value in looking at these things separately when you like, okay, I want to understand how it works, and then at this point, so I'm doing that part. But there might also be some people for whom it's just interesting to just watch one after the other to kind of download the whole information in one go, from like going from what is an event versus a metric, what is like how do I create one of those, like the generator part, and then the actual implementation part of, okay, back end versus front end. And just having them in one order, then you can, because then you can have the choice, do I go back to the documentation and read something there and then maybe click on a video again, or maybe I just follow through the videos one after the other.
Yeah.
I think one advantage that just came to my mind why I think actually we should definitely split it up is that it allows us to evolve the videos also separately along with the documentation.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, for example, backend tracking, if we add some easier way of tracking in a controller or some additional thing, then we can always re-record the backend video and just have that updated. Or if the monitor becomes even more powerful or easier to do, or has some new functionality, we can re-record that video without having to do like the whole thing, or someone has to go in and do some fancy editing where they cut out part of the video and then remove it. Because that's also the problem. I think we have some videos right now around like older videos about the whole setup of internal analytics. But the problem with that is some of those things are actually still up to date, but some other things aren't. And it's like, okay, now you need to kind of redo the whole video, because just going in and like doing parts of it, or even remove the whole video for now, because there's like parts of it which would be wrong information now, and even the valuable part now is wrong, because otherwise you would need to go in and somehow re-edit the video or something, which is also lots of time.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. A good reason. All right. I was just wondering, should we make separate? Okay, or can we make like both the front end playlist and a back end playlist? You know?
I think that should be like, I've never did this kind of playlist thing, but I assume it should be possible.
Yeah.
I think we can try.
Mm-hmm.
So, but from what I understand right now, we'd have, from what we talked before, I think we were more or less talking about 5 different videos in my understanding. So there would be kind of a fundamentals video, then a how to work with the generator video, because that's also independent of front end or back end. A backend tracking video, a front end tracking video, and a local setup and debugging video.
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the agenda document. What do you call the last one? Debugging and
local setup.
Yeah, local setup and verification.
Yeah, verification is also might be more fitting.
Yeah, I think that will get us started. Also, I have a hunch that we will probably update the fundamentals as we get feedback, probably already in a couple of weeks. Might be a good place to iterate on whatever feedback and confusion we sense from users. Okay.
So I think we can also, I mean, I don't know how it is for you, but I think for me it would be fine to also split those up, so that not you need to do all of the videos.
Yeah.
I want to do I'm in the process of doing the fundamentals, or whatever you want to call it, page anyway. So I can also try to do that as a video.
Yep.
And I think we can probably ask Ankit to do the front end one.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we should probably also just, like, as we make it like this, we can always replace them, right? And I think we should feel it as a very low investment. It's kind of a just additional format on top on other than the written documentation.
Yeah,
and not invest too much
totally.
time in it.
Yeah. So
All right.
don't get a haircut before doing the video.
Don't worry about that. I think one thing though that would be kind of nice is if we create a little bit of a script, a little bit of a story line that we can use. So I'm thinking I think it would be nice that the example for using the generator is also like the metric names and event names are recognizable in the tracking video and the verification video. But it's independent from the fundamental video.
Yeah. Maybe just write that down in the quick start video issue.
Yeah.
I mean, probably hardest part is there to come up with an example where you could think about doing it in the front end or in the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I don't know. Yeah, but then I think putting the videos aside, we had this, or like a start of a discussion beforehand also, and I think if we have because it feels like we are clear on who's doing which parts of the videos, and we can just kind of get those started and get a first iteration out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's Thursday today and Monday, we ideally want to kind of start announcing this, so I wouldn't block the announcement of internal events again by the release of those videos, because it just gets too yeah, we've been postponing this for some time, and I think we both already said that it's more likely that people are going to look at this anyway, mostly when they have the demand to instrument something and not necessarily kind of drop everything. New internal analytics is out. I'm gonna get.
Yeah. And we're off tomorrow, right? Friends and family.
Yeah, and tomorrow is off. That's the big thing. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it will be possible, but with tomorrow being off, it's going to be a tall order to get it recorded and then added and then merged. The one thing I'd definitely try to get merged today, and ask your opinion then on as well, is this fundamentals part.
Yeah.
The one thing I think we can quickly talk about here is, I think we had a discussion about this beforehand, but a technical writer also brought it up in one of the reviews, where to put that. So the original idea that I had, if we look at the structure here of the documentation, would be under internal analytics, there comes the fundamentals part, which then explains to you what is a metric, what is an event, because that's not specific to internal event tracking. The metric, a metric is a more general concept. What the technical writer brought up is that normally they are trying to turn these pages, like for example this one, into more than just a table of contents.
Yeah.
Which would probably make this page kind of the natural place to look like to put something like those fundamentals.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good place to put it.
Then we link out from there to, okay, if you want to do event tracking, please look at the quick start guide. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna put that there. One thing I was wondering, I think I know your opinion already, but I'm still curious. So for ourselves and product management and so on, we have this architecture page here, right? That's currently completely empty. And I think it's debatable how much architecture knowledge is needed for using our stuff versus or if needed at all. But when it comes to the delivery of the data, it might be helpful. And so I was wondering, maybe
what do you mean by delivery of the data? That's service
the
ping,
data,
or
the data. Where is the I've instrumented something, and now I'm getting data, and now I think what we currently also do not explain anywhere, and I think that's also need to figure out on the fundamentals page or the main page, is then this concept of, okay, you like when you instrument an internal event, you're gonna get distinct events for GitLab.com, but you're only gonna get counts for the metrics you instrumented on self-managed. And the question is it enough to just like state that out in text form? Or do we need to add some kind of architecture drawing? So maybe I can see if I can find it. Check, guys.
I think this guide, this kind of conceptual drawing, so not really architecture, but more conceptual drawing about how events and metrics are more connected, kind of more merged on self-managed, and kind of less on SaaS. Is a drawing we could use in the fundamentals part.
Is there a specific drawing you have in mind? It sounded like you.
Not, it's. I only have it in my mind.
Okay.
but
it sounded like it's like an existing thing.
I don't know. I've just been thinking about it long enough that it feels kind of real. I'll sketch it out.
Okay.
And then yeah.
The one, now I need to make sure. I think, did I copy this over? Quickly. And then so just so that you see what I have so far, and I think it's definitely helpful to us. I don't know if it's maybe too technical for our purposes. Potentially it is. But it's at least it's somewhat, I think, well, maybe understandable. And I try to reduce it to the main points. I don't know if this is the actual drawing.
Yeah.
So kind of for a product manager or even a developer to understand kind of, okay, what does this, how does this work on a very, very high level that I currently have. And the one thing that we could probably add there is kind of that only the metrics are delivered via weekly service ping. And here it's like events are delivered via daily import.
Yeah. No, but I think it's kind of like what I had in mind. I think I would try to kind of to make it more clear where the events are, kind of maybe by little, I don't know, this little drawings or something. So I think what often confuses people is the type of data, like which type of data is where. So where do we have metrics? Where do we have where do we have events?
You mean like an icon for an event?
Yeah, something like yeah. So let's say we have a So we have on SaaS we have the event flowing all the way to the data warehouse and being included in a metric, and then we both have events and metrics. Whereas on self-managed, the event flow, the flow of the event stops earlier, and we only see metrics flowing from that.
Now I have an animation in my mind where it's like we have this like event icon which goes from the feature code to track event, and then goes down here and over there, and here it somehow gets converted or wrapped into a metric or so.
Exactly. I guess we can fit a little GIF into the documentation. But I don't know if that would be helpful.
I mean, if you can animate, I don't think like. I'm pretty sure the technical limitation of putting an animation into the docs is going to be the problem for us here. I think it feels like the actual animation part of getting this in. But would you feel like something like this? I mean, there's definitely iteration potential, but do you feel like something like this should then be part of this main fundamentals page?
I think to have something like this in the fundamentals will help people a lot.
Okay, because then what I would suggest is I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna try or make it a focus today to set up a first iteration of the fundamentals page. Probably include this thing just that it's documented somewhere, and then we can see if we have a direct iteration on top of that, or say, okay, it's fine for now. We do like a second iteration next week or something. And we because that's also something that I had, like, that was a question in my mind. Maybe because in the end it feels to me now like maybe we can just get rid of this architecture page and put this in the main page, and that's enough architecture talk. And if there's really more kind of in-depth infrastructure architecture understanding, that's something we would put in the handbook and maybe link out to, and normally should only be interesting to people within our team, and everyone else only if they're like really, really interested out of some reason.
Yeah, I think we might have something about the delivery, like timeline for delivery from self-managed and from SaaS, how that is different. I don't know. I think that is often something that confuses people, like also which kind of time frames a metric is defined. I don't know if it's really, I mean, it's not really technical infrastructure, but it is kind of, something that is, confusing. But I think it would make sense to have a delivery section.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I would aim for, to make the service ping section in the long run of the documentation. Because what I'd like to do is kind of, or maybe we can even, like, maybe it's not going to be the service ping section in the long run. Maybe it's going to be the delivery section, and then it's going to have a sub part about service ping and another part about event delivery or something. Because I think from my point of view, service ping is one of the delivery solutions, right? It's not that's what it actually is. It's just, right now it's kind of built at this, everything is service ping. But from my point of view, it's only the actual delivery is service ping. Like, you have metrics and you have events and so on, and it is getting delivered by this vehicle called service ping, which has some specific properties. All right, I need to jump. It feels like we have at least kind of the next iteration in mind. It's kind of the tricky part here also, to not get like too sucked into trying to change everything at once.
No, I think these are good first steps.
Cool. All right.
See ya, and thank you for this week.